And before I sentence you, I'd like to say a few words about your arrest record. What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that shit up, B.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Man, you want some too? You better wrap it up.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes, and we got a bit of an impromptu comic book review. I was planning on reviewing Dark Knight's Death Metal Speed Metal today, and then tomorrow I was going to do Ten of Swords Creation #1. But I read Flash 762. This is the swan song for Josh Williamson. I believe he ended up creating 101 issues of the Flash, not including annuals and a couple of tie-ins that he did with Batman. And I think he's had a very, very strong run. I think this will be remembered in the annals of Flash history, specifically Barry Allen Flash history, as among the 3 or 4 best runs in the history of the series. So when I read this, I enjoyed it so much. This is a very good comic. This is a highest recommendation, borderline 5-star comic. I think if they had focused more time towards the initial conflict, which is obviously resolved, and a little bit less time on the end, the resolution where we kind of show the end state of Barry Allen as Joshua Williams hands it over to the new team, it probably would have been a 5-star comic. But this is excellent. It's even better than 761, which I thought was fantastic. And I'm going to get into all those details here in a minute. But I do want to say, if you're visiting the channel for the first time, you've been coming around but haven't taken the leap, today is the day to subscribe to Thinking Critical YouTube. Hit the bell for notifications. Give me a big thumbs up if you enjoy this content. Give me a big thumbs down if you don't. If you think my review is way off base, let me know in the comments section. And if you love this comic, let me know that too. What did you love about the Flash 762? And also, what did you like the most about Joshua Williamson's run on Flash? It's been, 4 years. He's the last man standing as far as DC Comics Rebirth. He's the last guy, the last creator that was on a title. Although I might be wrong, I think Dan Jurgens might have an issue or 2 left of Batman Beyond. But that was a monthly comic book. This one has been a twice monthly comic, so 101 issues. That is no small feat at all. And I think Joshua Williamson has helped himself, has displayed himself with the plum, done a very good job with the character. Some hits and misses along the way, maybe a little bit too big, maybe created a few too many new speedsters. I don't think the Force Quest was a very good story arc. I think he was hamstrung by some of the editorial decisions regarding Heroes in Crisis and what he had to do with Wally West and then the Flash War. But overall, I think this is a very good run on a comic series, specifically Flash. And I think he ends it with a bang here with the finish line. This is, I believe, part 4, the very last issue that he does, or Joshua Williamson does. And it is illustrated by Howard Porter. I'm very happy. Howard Porter's probably been my favorite artist on the Flash. There's been some other really good ones, obviously, Rafa Sandoval, Jordi Tarragona. Those are two of the names that come to mind. There's been a lot of great illustrators on this series. But now let's kind of get to the big shebang. This is going to be a little bit shorter than most of my reviews. But we start out and we get right back into it. It's Flash, Reverse Flash, Barry Allen, Eobard Thawne in the Speed Force. And Eobard Thawne is kind of tempting him. He's telling him, you know what? You can try and kill me and you're just going to reset everything. That you and I are intrinsically connected through the Speed Force. And every time you kill me, I'll come back and I'll ruin your life some more. What person that you love am I going to have to destroy next to get through to you? And he's like, why don't we just run forever? You keep chasing me, we'll stay in the Speed Force, and no one else will have to get hurt. And you think about with everything Barry Allen's been through, this has to be like a pretty tempting offer. He can stay in here. He doesn't return. He probably blames himself for a lot of the bad things that have happened to himself and his family. He also reminds him, think about all the things that you've done to your family. Think about all the things that you've done that you regret, that you didn't even know you were doing. I'm the one that was doing. I was whispering in your ear after we learned in the last issue that he was using the negative Speed Force and some vibration powers to influence Flash family members, specifically Barry Allen, Wally West in there, among others. So I thought this was a really good setup. Obviously in the last panel of the last issue, he's telling him he's going to kill him. We get that really awesome cover on this where Flash is basically dragging his dead body over just a white background. Beautiful use of negative space on that one. Really drove home the fact that you thought he was going to kill Eobard Thawne Reverse Flash, but that is not what happens, folks, because Barry Allen decides he's going to go a new direction, do something he's never done before. I like this. This is a cool turn for the character. This feels like a fitting end for all the things that Joshua Williamson did in Flash, and a lot of that was kind of rebuilding Barry Allen. Wally West is such a beloved character, and certainly Jeff Johns did a lot of that as well. But, you know, building Barry back up to be maybe the premier Flash, although I still think a lot of people probably like Wally West better. But in the end, he says, you know what? I'm going to pass on that, and I'm just going to forgive you. And this sets Eobard Thawne Reverse Flash off. I really like the moment. It takes him, you know, very off guard. He could not have expected that after all the things he done, especially, you know, killing his mother, going back and ruining his life, creating Godspeed, creating Zoom to go and just wreak havoc on Barry Allen's life. He would come back and he would actually forgive him, and he does not take kindly to this. And I'll say this, when I read Flash comics, a lot of times when they use the vibration powers or, you know, I vibrate, I don't think the visuals often look cool. They look a little hokey. Sometimes they are dope. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of times they just don't look great. But the way Howard Porter does this, as Reverse Flash decides he's going to speed through Barry Allen, he's not allowed to forgive him for all the things that he's done. They are intrinsically woven together. You know, they are, you know, kind of destined to be the yin and yang forever. And when he tries to go through him, Barry vibrates himself, Reverse Flash goes through him, and he leaves a piece of himself within Reverse Flash, grounding him with reality, which is something that we know it's explained that's how we lost Wally West in the Speed Force. He was not grounded. He needed somebody to ground him back in reality. And once he grounds Reverse Flash in reality, he kind of disappears. He goes back to the future, and that's kind of, we see him here in the Flash Museum in the 25th century. He's the world's biggest Barry Allen fan. He's leading these kids through a tour of the museum. I think it was a really cool way to do it, you know, to take that burden off of Eobard Thawne. Obviously, he did leave it open to where maybe he will remember in time and you know, hate Barry Allen once again, use all the information that he has and go back and try and ruin his life. So he didn't just take Reverse Flash off the table, but he certainly took him off the table in the meantime, reset him back to the 21st century, and gives the new Flash creators something to work with. They want to work with Eobard Thawne Reverse Flash in the future. They can, but he's sitting there safe as can be in the 25th century, not trying to ruin Barry Allen's life right now. And we also get Barry Allen kind of goes back and makes sure that all the things that Reverse Flash has done are being undone. You know, I believe Captain Cold, who died, he's no longer dead. He's been returned to the 25th century. Some other characters, although with Godspeed, that one's a little bit less clear. We do see the gravestone, but when Barry Allen leaves, the name gets blurred. So maybe Godspeed is back on the table. I'm not really sure, but he just resets everything. And I think it's really smart. When you have a character like Flash, you can certainly do that. That's part of the series. It's part of the power set of the character. And I think it was done really well. And we got there's like a barbecue going on. You get all the Flash family members, and there's a funny moment where I think it's Jay Garrick's telling all the little the younger speedsters, no time traveling, kids. I like that one. I like that moment pretty good. So it was cool, and I think it was a really good way to kind of clear the decks, conclude a very sweeping, epic 100-issue run on the character. And I think Joshua Williamson definitely accounted himself very well in the end. And I can't imagine a better way to end a run on a comic book series. Like, this is definitely on a high note, and people should be really happy with what they got with the Flash here. And he leaves, like I said, he leaves some room for things to happen. According to the very final page, where Williamson has a little thank you in the bottom, and also says the Trickster's returning, so obviously he'll be in the next issue. We also there's like a weird hanging thread where Eobard Thawne was going back and he's looking for this woman's name. I believe her last name is Macy. Barry Allen kind of wants to get to the bottom, and he goes and finds her, and it turns out her last name is Thawne, but he decides to leave well enough alone. And so there's something there to be played with, like a story, like a hanging thread that the next creators, who are Kevin Shinnick, and the artist is going to be Clayton Henry. I think Clayton Henry is a good choice for this. I really enjoyed his work over on Valiant. Obviously, he is getting some work on DC lately. He'll be in the Endless Winter story arc. Obviously, I believe he's doing the Flash series, or the Flash comic, Endless Winter Flash. So it's good to see him getting some DC work. Sounds like he's going to be the artist on Flash. It appears, we are getting a big shakeup at DC Comics. It appears that all the creative teams are changing. And you would think, Kevin Shinnick, never really heard of him. This is probably his first big break. I thought maybe this would be an abbreviated run. Maybe he gets a story arc, get us into Endless Winter, get us into Future State, and then maybe the next full-time Flash creative team will be announced. But as I understand it, Kevin Shinnick is the Flash creator. They like what he pitched, and expect for him and Clayton Henry to be the Flash creative team when Dark Knight's Death Metal ends and once DC Future State ends. So we shall see on that. Obviously, things could change. I could be having bad information, but that's the way it's kind of been explained to me. But if you haven't been reading Flash, I would suggest getting these last 4 issues. A great way to send the character off. A great way to finish up a 100-issue run on a character. We don't see that very often from creators, unless it's like a creator-owned thing, like Todd McFarlane or Eric Larson or something like that. So I think this is really cool. Like I said, it's a banger way to end the issue or end the run. And we'll see where Barry Allen goes from here. The only bad thing I could say about this comic really is there's no Wally West. He is mentioned, but there's no real conclusion, or he didn't play into this. Wally West feels like he probably should have been a part of this, but unfortunately, he is off doing other things, and I will be talking about that tonight. I'm definitely going to be reviewing Speed Metal here on the channel. I will not be going to bed until that one's out, folks, because I'm very interested in that one. I kind of perused the art by Eddie Barrows, and it looks amazing. So I'm pretty excited about that one. That should be out tonight. Tomorrow I will be reviewing Ten of Swords Creation #1. Pretty excited about that. The X-Men 12 got me kind of excited about that. There's also going to be another video tomorrow. I'll talk about, I'm going to be defending Tom King. How often does that happen? If you want to hear Wes from Thinking Critical defending Tom King and saying he didn't do anything wrong, show up right here on the channel at 9 a.m. Eastern, and it'll be there for you. I can't believe I'm going to do it. I am defending Tom King, but I am glad that Joshua Williamson got to send off the Flash with a bang. Very good ending for the series. Highest recommendation for this comic. It's even better than 761, which I thought was fantastic. So it was so good, I just had to do an impromptu short review because I was very impressed, and I think everyone should go out and get a copy of this if they get a chance. And I think you'll enjoy it just as much as me. And with that, I will see y'all later, folks.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.